have some brand new updates for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, including a brand new still of Bill Murray in the film, as well as an explanation as to what this death chill new antagonist could be in the film. Let's talk a little bit about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second page. I appreciate you for stopping by, talking a little Ghostbusters. Let's get into the fifth entry in the Ghostbusters franchise. Just forget about the third one. It never happened. This is technically number 4, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. A new image brings Bill Murray back to the iconic NYC firehouse. Very exciting stuff, man. We got an excellent cast, speaking of which, across the board for this movie. I want to preface this by saying I loved Ghostbusters Afterlife. Is it my favorite Ghostbusters film? No. I would probably put it at number 3. I think 1 and 2, they're kind of untouchable. I love Ghostbusters 2 almost as much as I love the first one. Almost. I don't know. It's a weird thing with Ghostbusters 2. Some people hate it. I love that film. Like if 1 is here, 2 is like, it's a 9 out of 10. If the first one's a 10 out of 10. I kind of feel like Frozen Empire might be a better movie. That's where I'm at with it right now. I'm hyped about the premise. I'm way more excited for this movie than I was for the last one. And I don't know, we're going back to New York. We're getting a Ghostbusters movie in New York City. It comes out in March. I'm hyped. Like, I'm so hyped for this movie. I cannot wait for it. Run it back. Let's see this thing. Let's talk a little bit about it. So Bill Murray's Peter Venkman is back, cornering Paul Rudd in the back room of the firehouse. What is he going to do to him? I don't know, but it doesn't look good. The rest of the cast includes Patton Oswalt, Kumail Nanjiani, James Acaster, Emily Allen Lynn, Bill Murray, Finn Wolfhard, Ernie Hudson, McKenna Grace, Paul Rudd, Celeste O'Connor, Logan Kim, Annie Potts, Dan Aykroyd, and Carrie Coon. The film will not be directed by Ivan Reitman's son, Jason Reitman. He did direct the last one, which was cool, but he's producing this one. Gil Keenan is directing, who of course did Monster House. He did that Poltergeist remake. Let's just forget about that. Gil Keenan from Monster House and only Monster House alone. That is it. That's the only thing he's ever done. It comes out on March 29th of 2024. I'm excited for it. Am I worried about Gil Keenan directing? No. That Poltergeist remake is really bad, dude. Like just awful. Avoid it like the plague. But Monster House? Banger, dude. This is a perfect gateway horror film because it's just scary enough to the point where like it could terrify a child. I know it terrified little Jake, but it's also palpable. You know what I mean? It's nothing too much. It's nothing too much for a child. Like they could watch Monster House and be fine. Maybe a couple of nightmares, whatever. But that's the point of gateway horror, baby. You gotta have a little bit of nightmares here and there. You know, life isn't just Disney movies and romance. I wish it was. That would be awesome, but it's not. Comes out on March 29th of next year, just a couple of months away. It was pushed back, though, from this month. We were supposed to see it in December. I'm weirdly excited to see this one closer to next summer, though, because I feel like this is going to be a summer movie. Now, you might think from the title, Frozen Empire, it's perfect for a December release. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's probably why they released it in December, because of the title. But it is actually a summer movie, which is really interesting. Let's talk a little bit about that, though. Because of the death chill, it's going to be a very frozen wasteland in New York during the summertime. It already is a frozen wasteland, like right now in December of 2023 and most winters. But in summertime, usually New York's a pretty nice place weather-wise. But what's going on here? The death chill. You might have seen this in the trailer, but let's talk a little more about this brand new villain and the new mythology behind it. Afterlife was definitely more of like a love letter to that original film, where I feel like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is taking a note from Ghostbusters 2, a great movie, again, I'm going to die on that hill, where they vibe with a brand new antagonist. It was cool in Afterlife, don't get me wrong. It was like, okay, cool, Gozer. I forgot about this character. It's like, whoa, that's kind of cool. And Gil Keenan talks a little bit about how they're moving away from that and starting to take on new antagonists, which is what I love so much about Ghostbusters 2 and what I'll most likely love about Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Gil Keenan, talking a little bit with Empire Online, says because the Spangler family story drove the narrative in Afterlife, bringing Gozer back to center stage was a natural way to close the book on the past. But we are now in the post-Gozerian era of the Ghostbusters saga, so that means we're able to stretch out and create an entirely new mythology. And that's thrilling as a storyteller because there are all new and terrifying stakes with fresh visual references to draw on. I could not agree more. Listen, when it comes to Ghostbusters, this is not a movie that I personally take seriously. For me, Ghostbusters has never been about like, oh man, it's so compelling. They have this amazing story. It says so much about real life ghosts. No, man. I want to see Ghostbusters because it's fun. It's like a silly Marvel movie. The Death Chill turns a warm New York City summer into a frozen apocalypse that has the power to kill by fear itself. Ooh, damn. Starting to sound like Pennywise the Clown over here. It's almost like we're borrowing from that. I wonder why. Something else that's really interesting about this antagonist is it borrows it from the 1980s animated series called The Real Ghostbusters. Update from the editing room: as I'm making this video, we just got ourselves a poster for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire that features some kind of gross looking ice worm, a little Slimer in the background, which has already been teased in some other stuff from the past marketing, and some kind of new antagonist in the background floating with some horns. I'm loving the look of this thing. I'm so excited to see these monsters, well, I guess I should say ghosts, in action, hopefully getting busted. We're going back to the iconic New York City firehouse, which once again, I think is a great choice for a very nostalgia-driven franchise, of course. I think, like, if there's any movie from the entirety of the 1980s that could sum up pop culture and the vibe of the overall time period, it's without a doubt Ghostbusters. Are there better movies from this time period? Like, yeah, I would say so, but Ghostbusters is like, everyone knows Ghostbusters. Everyone knows Slimer. Everyone knows Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You know what I mean? There are just certain elements to it that are just so iconic and so much fun. It's another movie where I just feel like anyone can enjoy it. You know, I talk a lot about horror movies on my page, and that's definitely for a smaller group of people out there. You know, there are very intense horror films where what's happening on screen is not for the faint of heart, not for children. But here's a gateway horror film that anyone can enjoy, no matter what age you are, because of how it's written. Like, the crossing the streams joke is, without a doubt, a sexual innuendo. I'm not gonna say any more than that. If you don't get it, dog, I don't know what to tell you. In the theme song, there is one of the most hilarious sexual innuendos I think I've ever heard across film and TV. Bustin' makes me feel good. Dude sings that so passionately. I know I talked about the cast earlier, but I really quickly want to put a spotlight on Annie Potts, who is like so underappreciated when it comes to the Ghostbusters movies. I think that she is such a big standout in those first two films especially. I'm excited to see her back for Frozen Empire. Don't get me wrong, like Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, you know, Ernie Hudson, all these people were so good in the original. And everyone else, I mean, the whole cast is fantastic. Sigourney Weaver, so good. You know, I'm not trying to say they're bad, but they get praised a lot. Annie Potts, I don't hear a lot of praise for. I think she is an integral character to those movies and shines big time. Like I said, March 29th, this bad boy's coming out, got pushed a little bit. That's okay, though. We're seeing it closer to summertime. You know, it's a spring movie now, which is another weird season for this one to come out in, but regardless, I'm excited for it. Are you excited to see Paul Rudd and a bunch of kids fight a big ol' snowstorm? Tell me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all for watching this brand new update, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.